A man who willingly puts himself in a submissive position to women in the hopes of winning them over is referred to as a simp. You will lose respect from women if you're doing any of the following activities. 1. Putting yourself in an inferior position to women. Your buddies are probably right to call you a simp if you let girls walk all over you without addressing them. It's one thing to put your pride aside for those you care about. Being a pushover is a completely different animal. 2. You are overly devoted. To be clear, it is totally acceptable to pay attention to females. Giving all of your energy, time, and money to someone who isn't interested in you isn't normal. You are a huge simp if she friend-zoned you and you're still hanging to her in the hopes of winning her over. 3. You employ niceness as a tool. Simps are simply manipulative, unlike decent people who are humble and gentle. It's all a ruse for them to act so polite. The goal is to make women like you. They can, however, become incredibly nasty and even hostile after the act is done. 4. You overvalue women you don't even know. You can be a simp if a woman wins your respect simply by being a woman. It's fine to admire and respect others, even if you are unfamiliar with them. Going overboard and obeying someone solely because of their sex, on the other hand, is a definition of simp. 5. Being manipulated by females. Some males will go to any length to gain a woman's attention. In the hopes of gaining something, they'll often let a lady walk all over them. You'll be asked to do something by a girl, and you'll do it right immediately. They'll play a guilt trip on you even if there's no benefit to you, and if you're even somewhat hesitant, because they know your good guy flaws. You already know if you're a simp or not. Now, let me tell you what you need to do to quit simping and start becoming the kind of man that women want to date. 1. Don't be a butler for anyone. As a simp, you're tempted to comply with every request. However, keep in mind that doing so will not make you look like boyfriend material. You'll come across as a desperate man with nothing better to do. This behavior will not help you acquire her respect, even if you are in a relationship. Rather, be considerate of your time. Even if your relationship is going well, you shouldn't give over your entire life to it. Spend more time with your friends and family, and learn a new hobby or sport. If her request interferes with your plans, gently decline. She may not like your reaction right now, but she will love your persistence and excitement. However, don't be a jerk about it. Respecting your time doesn't mean ignoring her altogether. You should not reject her texts or calls, or pretend to do chores in order to look more reserved. Instead, be available when she needs you, but don't act as a butler to her. 2. Define your personal boundaries. You probably spend a lot of time on social media staring at their images, watching their tales, scrolling through their TikToks, and basically obsessing over any little detail about them that you can get your hands on. Set personal limits for yourself. This could entail blocking, muting, or speaking with them through a single platform, something where you aren't completely absorbed by what they are posting. This is easier said than done because, while you may agree with the theory of what I'm saying, when it comes to really putting it into practice, you're more likely to ignore my advice and continue to follow them. Look at their stuff and wonder why your position isn't changing. Listen, I'm going to tell it how it is. You're no longer living for yourself if you find yourself scrolling over their pages many times a day. You're only interested in them and any attention they can give you. You must begin to concentrate solely on yourself. Your passion, interests, and the things you enjoy doing are all examples of self-growth, because that's what you bring to the table once you've figured out who you are. And when you communicate with the person you like, you're not pleading for their attention. Instead, you're demonstrating why they should be interested in you. 3. Develop integrity. Be a man who keeps his word. A man of honor says what he means and means what he says. If you say something, don't change your mind. And if you're incorrect, admit it. You're not cultivating ethics in order to attract women. As a byproduct, a man with integrity will be able to attract women. Instead, you acquire integrity because that is the proper way for a man to live. You are only as good as your word. You'll then be able to be genuine in your dealings with others. You will be respected by both men and women because you gain trustworthiness. You'll be able to be truthful to yourself and to others. It's more than just avoiding X or Y behavior when it comes to figuring out how to stop being a simp. It's all about being a man of honor. You can hold yourself and the women you interact with accountable if you have integrity. The order that a guy sets in his dealings with women includes this accountability. 4. Improve yourself. One of the most effective strategies to quit simping is to work on yourself. Sims frequently ignore themselves in favor of women, resulting in them becoming weak and uninteresting. You should spend less time sinking for girls and more time improving yourself to avoid this. There is no one-size-fits-all approach to self-improvement. However, here are some general guidelines to help you get started. First and foremost, read books or listen to podcasts that interest you. Second, go to the gym or join a sport. Finally, push yourself to be more bold by stepping outside of your comfort zone now and again. It's important to note that self-improvement is not something that women do. It's something you do on your own initiative. If you don't upgrade, you'll be just as cheap. 5. Maintain your control. As a simp, you have an odd desire to lavish attention and compliments on women whenever possible. And, while there's nothing wrong with complimenting ladies on occasion, you must know how and when to do it. You will not appear to be a gentleman if you are drooling over a girl. It will make you appear creepy. Stop liking and commenting on each and every one of her photos, even the ones from 5 years ago. Please don't defend her whenever she is the subject of a joke. Whenever possible, refrain from complimenting her on her every move. Keep your cool and act like a gentleman. 6. Be brave. This final piece of advice on how to avoid being a simp would be incomplete without it. A great lack of courage is one character defect that all simps share. To be fair, acting aggressively isn't as simple as you may think. With time and effort, though, a cowardly simp can be transformed into a brave gentleman. If you're caught in the friend zone, gather your guts and ask her out instead of clinging to her in the hopes that she'll eventually fall for you. It will be stressful at the time, but you won't have to suffer if you see her with other men.